So I watched All's Fair, and to say the show was bad is an understatement. It's been a few months now, and from debuting at 0% with critics, it's now at an anemic 6%. Kim doesn't care though. In fact, the show was Hulu's biggest debut for a new series in years, netting 3.5 million watchers. Subsequently, the show was renewed for a second season. But I feel in their hate watch, most people missed out on a crucial issue with the show, beyond Kim's wooden acting and Ryan Murphy's god-awful writing. And I want to explore how the worst show ever made is actually a sign of even worse things to come. Before I share my thoughts on the bigger issues, let's go over what this show is actually about. All's Fair is a legal drama comedy that follows a team of high-powered female divorce attorneys who quit a male-dominated law firm to start their own practice. They are focused on representing women in multi-million-dollar divorces. The story centers on their professional battles in and out of the depositions because they are never in a courtroom. And this is happening as they juggle scandals, secrets, and personal relationships that sometimes blur the lines between work and life. All's Fair functions largely like a case of the week show. Each episode typically follows the firm's divorce attorneys handling one or more unique high-stake breakup case. While there are ongoing arcs, and I mean a lot because every person on the show has a B-plot that has a B-plot, many episodes introduce client and legal troubles that get resolved in one way or another. The show starts Kim Kardashian as Laura Grant, the confident, ambitious divorce attorney. When you are watching Kim Kardashian deliver lines, you start to think, this isn't even bad acting. Bad acting is when you can see an actor trying to be good and missing the mark. What Kim is doing is the complete absence of acting at all. She delivers every single line like she's reading off of a teleprompter. I can say with certainty, I have seen her deliver more emotion on Keeping Up with the Kardashians than any episode of this show.
Don't be rude.
Are you kidding me?
I swear to God, don't be.
What are you
throw the thing on me. I'll hurt you. Don't do that.
Oh my God.
One of the show's directors, Anthony Hemingway, admitted in an interview that accessing emotion wasn't easy for Kim. That the production had to work with her to connect, to evoke that emotion and bring it out. Which, I mean, is, step one of acting, but shouldn't that be done before you are cast on a show that cost $70 million to make? But Kim only knows how to be Kim Kardashian, and no amount of expensive wigs and designer costumes can change that fundamental limitation. I think her bad acting wouldn't have been as noticeable if she wasn't surrounded by some of the most talented actresses in Hollywood. There's Glenn Close, a 7-time Oscar nominee, Naomi Watts, a 2-time Oscar nominee, Niecy Nash-Betts, and Sarah Paulson are both Emmy winners. These are serious actresses who have dedicated their entire lives to developing their craft, and every single one of them is playing a supporting role to someone who legitimately made me cringe as I watched her fumble out her lines episode after episode. But as I continue to watch, I realized this isn't a show at all. The bigger issues I have with All's Fair as I continue to watch is that Kim's performance felt like watching an out-of-place product placement. Then it dawned on me. This show is one long commercial for one thing in particular, the Kim Kardashian brand. Everything about this show is to add legitimacy to the Kim Kardashian brand. These actresses are there because Kim Kardashian project needs to look legitimate. Disney and Hulu shelled out $70 million and gave her a show because it made business sense to do so. Keeping Up with the Kardashians is already on Hulu, so they kind of owed her a favor. And it brings in a lot of viewers, and for Kim, it gives her even more of a platform. Ryan Murphy signed on to make the slop, and I mean, he's capable of slop, but he can churn out a banger here and there. But after watching the show, it was like he didn't even try because a check was guaranteed and Kim gets to work with a prolific showrunner. Again, because I remember Delicate and it sucked, so I'm really not surprised. But this show kind of felt like Skims, but for TV. Let me explain. If you didn't know, Kim didn't actually make Skims all on her own. She had some help, specifically with these two people, Jen Greed and Emma Greed. They were able to help her create her billion-dollar empire. Kim is the largest investor in Skims, and she's turned into the chief creative director, and she also works as a brand ambassador. Jens brings in his retail operation knowledge, and Emma, who helped create Good American with Khloe Kardashian, brought on her knowledge of creating celebrity brands. Skims has worked for Kim. It's gone her $1 billion. But does that make it any good? If we are being honest about the brand overall, it is not high quality. As someone who has owned Skims products, I can attest that one good wash is all it needs to be its downfall. And as a company, they don't have the best ethics. They received a score of 0 on a fashion accountability report shared in 2024. As you can see, they are in the same league as Shein and Temu when it comes to business ethics. And if I'm being honest with you, probably in quality too. Kim wants this to be a legacy brand for her Spanx if you will, but it's really just overpriced fast fashion. And that's kind of what she did for the TV show. But for every Skims or Kim Kardashian Hollywood game, Kim has had a lot of failed projects that feel like she doesn't put that much effort into and hopes her fame can sustain it. There's Dash, a clothing store that I feel was specifically created for their TV show. Beauty line called Chroma Kardashian Beauty that she did with her sisters. and they went through so much legal trouble with that one, I don't think it even stood a chance. She had an app called the Kimoji app, which also had legal troubles because the developer ended up suing Kim, saying that she stole his idea and did a breach of contract. He tried to sue her for $100 million, but she countersued for $300 million, and that was an amount he couldn't afford, so the case was dropped. Then there was the Kardashian collection clothing line at Sears, which is of its time. Then KKW Beauty and KKW Fragrance. KKW Beauty actually started successfully with contour kits in 2017, but in 2021, Kim announced that the website was shut down. Pretty much she was dropping the W because she divorced from Kanye. And she was trying to consolidate all of her beauty ventures into one. This became Skin, spelled with 2 Ks, so you really know it's her. But then Skin also flopped because of the exorbitant pricing. All totaled, the whole line would cost you $630 to own. But now, Skin is being absorbed into Skims, which is a process that's going on. Honestly, it's so hard to say. She really needs better names. Some of these feel like a fever dream, and I can't help but wonder how many of these you actually probably even heard of. But to follow back onto what I was saying before, this made me realize something about Kim. Kim loves to work. She said so herself in her now infamous Variety interview with her family, which you can see right here.
I have the best advice for women in business. Get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
But Kim, I have a question for you. You say people don't want to do hard work, but I wonder, do you want to make good work? Are you allergic to making things of quality? And I mean that genuinely. You slap your name on anything and everything like you are Oreos, and you expect us to buy in like always. But for the wealth you have and the amount of money people inexplicably pour into your projects, would it be so hard to make something great? All's Fair had beautiful cinematography, honestly, and it looked well made. Emphasis on looked. It had great talent in front of the camera. If Ryan Murphy sat down somewhere for 2 weeks and actually took his time, he could have pumped out some better writing for the show. I could even get behind the concept. I love camp. I love watching bad TV often. I have regularly watched bad Tubi movies, but I know what I'm getting when I go there. An entertaining mess. You made a show that committed the biggest TV sin of all time. Being boring. Honestly, it would have been better off if you had someone else act as a Laura Grant, kind of being a self-insert for you, and then you could have just had a cameo appearance. You could have been one of the clients that you serve on the show, but you can't help but stick your face onto something because you kind of are a megalomaniac, and honestly, Kourtney said it first. The Kardashian empire has been running on the same basic principle for over a decade. Their name guarantees attention, that attention converts into engagement, and that engagement converts into money. It doesn't matter what the product actually is. Skims isn't revolutionary shapewear designed by fashion innovators. It's shapewear that exists because Kim Kardashian's name is attached to it. And that moves units. The mobile games, the beauty lines, the perfume, the sponsored posts, none of it exists because the Kardashians have a special expertise in these areas. In fact, I feel like their name cheapens a lot of stuff, but for some reason they have appeal. And it exists because the Kardashian brand is a perpetual machine for converting fame into revenue. All's Fair is that exact same machine pointed at what Kim wanted to be, prestige television. This is a woman who failed the California bar exam multiple times, deciding that if she can't be a real lawyer, she'll just play one on TV instead. Can't pass the bar? No problem. Get $70 million to have a TV show where you can live out your lawyer fantasy while also expanding on your brand portfolio. It's brilliant, actually. In its shamelessness, it's so freaking brilliant. But I think this should worry you. In the attention economy we live in, there is no difference between someone hate watching your show and someone genuinely enjoying it. Because every ironic view is still a view. Every article about how bad the show is still proves people are talking about it. Even this video adds to the Kardashian machine and Kim's notoriety. Quality has become optional, and what it's proving should genuinely worry anyone who cares about television as a medium. It's proving that if you're famous enough, you can make television regardless of whether you can act. It's proving that follower counts matter infinitely more than talent or experience. It's proving that shows don't need to be good or meaningful or well-crafted. It just needs to be made by someone who guarantees attention, and attention will take care of everything else. And that scares me a little bit. Think about what it means for everyone else trying to work in this industry. How many genuinely talented actors will lose roles to influencers who can't act, but have millions of followers on Instagram? As if Nepo babies and AI haven't done enough damage. But Ryan Murphy and Kim Kardashian got exactly what they wanted. The show is a massive hit. It's already been renewed for its second season. The negative reviews have unfortunately turned into part of the marketing campaign, and they won. Kim's gloating online about how great the show is doing and how we who complain are the haters. But I ask you one thing as a viewer. what will it take you to look away? There was a tweet I saw on Twitter years ago that for the life of me, I can't find. So if you know it, please share it with us. But it said something like, once a month, you think about Kim Kardashian. At the time, which was easily about 8 years ago, that could have been the case for me. Genuinely. Now that time has passed, I can say that's not the case. But definitely not at 0 yet. It's very embarrassing to think about how someone who has no talent can be the topic of conversation so regularly. And ask yourself, how often do you think of these people? Sometimes not even by choice. And now, that choice will disappear because we allow ourselves to get swept up in the wildfire that is whatever BS they come out with. And it feeds a vicious outrage cycle that has worked for them for years and showing no signs of stopping. I mean, it will one day. Everything does. But I ask you, I beg you, let's make that day today.